Siracusa from Melbourne. He is an author and professor of security and diplomacy at Curtin University. Great to have you with us. Tell us, how much has changed since the last talks ended? I guess the question is, how different will that negotiating team be, Raisi's negotiating team, compared to his predecessors?
Well, actually, a great deal has changed. Now, the negotiating team really is a negotiating team. It's proximity team. Got the five powers talking to the Iranians, and then when the Iranians talk to them, and then the team goes across the street and talks to the United States. So these are proximity meetings. The Iranians won't sit down with the United States because they don't really trust them. They want to put together. And I got to tell you, the window is closing here. These negotiations were fraught several years ago, and of course Trump dumped them right away. And look, I don't believe negotiations are forever. What I like about nuclear agreements is they buy you a little bit of time. And at the time, it was quite clear that the Israelis would not tolerate a nuclear capability in Iran. They made it very clear to them. They'll take out those capabilities, and the Iranians have made it very clear that they would raise their troops in the neighborhood, and Hamas will be on Israel's doorstep, and all kinds of things are going on. And here you have Israel it thinks it's caught in a corner, and the Iranians think they have to do something else.
Joe, why is that window closing, as you say?
Well, the original deal was to restrict the uranium enrichment so that it would take the Iranians at least 12 months. That is, the world would see it takes 12 months for them to break out to acquire a nuclear weapon. They need so much. And right now, that window is now 2 or 3 weeks. They have accumulated 210 kilos of low-grade uranium, 3 kilos of high-grade uranium. All you need now is an intermediate-range rocket, which they have, put it on a warhead, which I know they can do, and then deliver it to their enemies in the Middle East. So they're all ready to go. And so
just for clarity, Joe, if I may interrupt, what
Sure.
you're saying then is that window is closing, and that means that the Iranians have the equipment now, or producing at 90%, I understand, which makes them capable to produce a bomb, which is the biggest worry. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. The turnaround time on this is very short. And I have to say that up until a couple of years ago, the Iranian nuclear proposition was #1 on foreign policy analyst list. Then it was replaced by North Korea, and then COVID came along, and people had forgotten it. So it's very important to solve this.
It is, and if we don't solve it, and if these talks in Vienna fail, what then?
Look, Maria, as sure as night follows day, there will be a war in the Middle East. The Israelis will not tolerate the capability of a nuclear weapon there the way they would not even tolerate the prospect of a weapon in Iraq. The Israelis will strike first, and the Americans have been at odds with the Israeli to get them to cool things off for a while. But, you know, the odds of war there are about 6 to 5 against. I mean, it's very small odds, and they have very little time to solve this. And frankly, the Ayatollah, the leader of the Iranians, he doesn't trust the Americans, whether it's Biden or Trump, because he thinks that if Trump comes back in, or someone like Trump, he'll simply rescind the deal again. And he thinks he was lied to. Don't forget that it was the Americans who killed one of his best friends, General Soleimani. So he's got a lot of issues going in these talks. He doesn't trust the Americans. And the new government of Iran, hardliners, they're not like Rouhani and the moderates. They don't really care if a deal is solved, but they're not prepared to deal with the consequences, which I'm telling you will be severe.
Joe Siracusa, strong words from you. Thank you very much indeed for your analysis.
Thank you.